I hope you are fit and fine. Today, in this video session, we're going to focus on writing skills. And we all know it very well that writing skills is an important part of the question paper because it has more weightage. So you should be good in letter writing and other creative writings of the writing skills. So, today in this video session, we are going to focus on letter writing and especially about informal letter we are going to discuss. So, we all know it very well that informal letters we are writing to whom? Informal letters are basically written to close acquaintances of the writer, their friends, family, relatives, etc. It means we are writing the informal letters to our friends, parents, and sometimes our close relatives. So, this is informal. Why it is called as informal? Already I have told you in the previous standard that here we are not following specific rules and regulations. This is a casual letter we are writing to our close relatives. So here we don't have a specific format. As per our discussion, as per our communication conversation, we can write many sentences to our close relatives or friends. So informal letter, we all know it very well that letter writing is an important skill to develop. Written communication in both the formal and personal matters is crucial, and so it is necessary to develop a skill for letter writing. Many times, whenever I'm teaching this point to the students, they're asking me, Sir, why we need to have the command over the letter writing? So let me tell you the answer of this particular question. Though we are living in 21st century, though we are living in the age of technology, but still letter writing is a vital part in government sector. Many times we need to write down letters through hard copies, though we have the email IDs. For kind of information, I would like to tell you something about the similarity between emails and letter writing. So here I would like to tell you that email is an updated version of letter writing, and as per the today's customs, now letter writing is converted into the block or full block style, or you can call it American style of writing. So here it is necessary to develop a skill for letter writing. So let me share with you the next slide, which told us that exactly why we need to write down the informal letters. So already we have discussed the first point that informal letters are basically written to our friends, family, or relatives. In the second point, informal letters have an informal and personal tone. So here we are not specifically using the formal language because this is personal kind of the letter. So here it's possible to use informal style of writing. So let's see, casual language you can use in such kind of the letters. There is no set format when writing an informal letter. So this is very important point I would like to mention here, that there is no set format for the informal letter, but we have a specific format for the formal type of the letter. We will discuss about it in the next session. But informal letter don't have any specific format. But still, we need to think about these points. The first point, that is address. We know it very well that in informal letter we need to write down the sender's address. If suppose I am writing the letter to someone, so I need to mention my address at the beginning. So sender's address is the first point in informal letter. After that, we need to include date. It means on which day you are writing the letter to someone. You need to mention in the address of the sender. And our letter started with greeting part, or you can say salutation part. So in this, we need to select appropriate greeting as per the member. As per the member means maybe your relative, maybe your parent, maybe your friend. As per the relation, you have to select one appropriate greeting for the person. Then our actual letter started. We have introductory paragraph. It means in introductory paragraph, you should clearly mention the purpose of the letter. It means why you are writing the letter to the person, because every letter has its specific purpose and informal letter also has its own specific purpose. So you should mention specific purpose in introductory paragraph. Then we have main body of the letter, in which you have to write about that particular topic in detail. And in the last part, you need to conclude the letter, and the last part is closure, in which you have to mention your name and you have to sign it if you want to sign it. So this is the format of informal letter. These are the major parts of the informal letter. The first one is address, the second one is date, the third one is greeting part, the fourth one is introductory paragraph, the next point is related with the main body of the letter, and the last part is conclusion and closure. So after discussing these parts, I would like to tell you in detail about the informal letter. So let's see. Now we're going to discuss about the format of informal letter with an example. So in front of your eyes, you have the example of informal type of the letter. So let's see that address. The first thing to write is your address. That is the address of the writer. We usually write the address on the left hand side of the page at the very top. We all know it very well. The letter should be left aligned. It means each and every sentence must start with the left side, not to the right side, because this is left aligned letter. So here you should start to the left side, and the address should be accurate and complete. And in the examination, remember that it's not allowed to write down your name. So instead of your name, you have to mention ABC or XYZ. So even when writing to close friends or relatives, the address must be written so they can reply back to the letter with ease. If the recipient of the letter is in another country, do not forget to write your country as well in the address. So basically, this is just about the letter's first part, address. So in the address, you have to be very careful that it should be accurate and correct, because with the help of this address, recipient able to reply you. The next part, date. Next, just below the address, we need to write the date. This allows the reader to have a reference as to when the address was written. He can then relate better to the contents of the letter. So here it is very necessary to mention the date. I hope you understood the first part of the informal letter. that is address and date. Now we're going towards the next part, that is greeting, or you can say salutation. Now, since you know the person you are writing to, the greeting can be informal as well. If it is a friend or someone close to your age, you can greet them by their first name, like Dear Anita, Dear Ramesh, Dear, or any one of the name. So if you are writing to your relative like your mother, father, aunt, maybe uncle, etc., you may greet them as such. For example, dear mom, dear dad, likewise. And if you are writing to an elder person, someone you respect greatly, you can address them as Mr. or Mrs. Like, say, for example, you are writing a congratulatory letter to your teacher. It can be addressed as Dear Mr. Ram Sir. Likewise. So you have to use Mr. and Mrs. as well. So after this, we need to start our letter. And the first paragraph is called as introduction of the letter, or introductory paragraph of the letter. And now we begin writing the actual letter. The introductory paragraph sets the tone for the whole letter. You might begin by asking the recipient about their well being, or you may say that you hope the letter finds them in good health and great spirits. So, here also remember, in the first paragraph, the starting is like that. You will be pleased to know that I am coming home for the weekend. I'm very excited to meet you all after so long, so long. So here remember, you have to ask about the good health of the recipient. Recipient means the person who receives the letter. The opening of the informal letters should be casual and comforting. It must not be formal and direct in business letters. Remember, business letters are different and informal letters are totally different than business letters. So now we are going towards the main body of the letter. The letter overall should maintain a friendly tone because this is the casual letter, informal letter. But you have to adjust the language and the wordings according to who you are writing to. With a friend, you can afford to be very casual and flippant even. But if you're writing to an elder relative, you must be extremely respectful and considerate. Okay, I hope that you understood this point clearly. One way to determine the tonality of your letter is to remember how you talk to the person in a conversation. So basically, in the way you're talking to the person, you can write the letter. That is the conversational tone you need to use in informal letter. And then apply the same syntax and sentiments to the letter. After this concluding part, concluding remarks playing a vital role in both types of the letters. So here in the conclusive paragraph, sum up the reason for writing the letter. That is, summarize the letter. Say a meaningful and affectionate goodbye to the reader, and do not forget to invite the reader to write back or reply to your letter. It shows an intention to keep the conversation going. So here also remember, we had mentioned that convey my regards to Papa and love to dear Ritu. Right? So here remember, once again you have to say goodbye in a good way, in a meaningful way. And at last you have to use once again the correct salutation, yours lovingly, right? That is because this is informal letter, so you can use yours lovingly. But in formal letter, it's not possible to use this salutation because this is casual salutation, that is yours lovingly. In the formal letter, we need to use yours faithfully, yours sincerely, like that. So at last, signature or the name of the person you have to mention. In the examination, it's not possible to write down your name, so here mention A, B, C or XYZ, right? And you can do any one of the imaginary signature. Signature is not compulsory, but if you want to do it, it's okay. So you can use many words like lots of love, best regards, best wishes, kind regards, kindly, right? So many words you can use at the end. So it's very important to have the tonality to the informal letter. Use the casual tone. In the second example, sample second, let's see that here we have the address of the person. Remember, first of all, you have to mention ABC or XYZ. In this sample, it was not actually there, but you have to mention that is ABC or XYZ. This is the address of the person, and he has mentioned the date March 1st, 2019. That is the date. And after that, he has started the letter with the salutation dear. Correct. And he has started the introductory paragraph like that. It's been a while since I have heard from you. So many days you're not heard from this person, so you had mentioned this particular thing. Where have you been? I hope this letter finds you in the best of your health. So you have to ask about the health of the person, right? And in the second one, main body of the letter, you have to mention the purpose of the letter, and in the last part you have to conclude the letter as per the purpose of the letter. So this is all about the letter writing. This letter is also there for your kind reference. I hope the concept of informal letter is clear now. And if you have any kind of the doubt regarding the informal style of the letter, you can call me after 11 a.m. So, with this concluding remark, today we have learnt about the letter writing, which is important part of the writing skills, and especially we learnt about informal type of the letter. Remember, the total weightage for the letter is 5 marks. In the next session, I will tell you the marking scheme of the letter. It means in what way examiner is checking the letter. So till then, stay safe, stay home. Thank you very much.